out there centers around your time in the military. I don't know whether ye order simfaltal janebe futala woro, but it lafa ke nyininka menna. My understanding is you went into the military around 1984-85. This was after the coup d'etat. You know, wonata ke kuti me alonko, you know, aketa num barandi kuti Gambia banko kam. It was the time wale munu watu time alonko kuko samba sanyang ani moko to lafa ka president Jawara la Mansa Kunda boindi ni sembola. Ngaje ko mo jamalu fata kono dol ba fala mo keme lulu kata mo keme woro, but it was one of those dark moments Gambian history kono. So mune yete wakilindi kadung sojar kunda even after that tragic period, because waketa no moli sunu watu balet Gambia banko kam bari kuko keta 81 ngaje 84-85 itate kafta military nyinkang mune wono mune atin na fanam ye military tombong anda manke karya kotangolte.
Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin woto isti hako boy di nyem fali katu call yefenko so memem fola dom one thing maybe mbuka wo dundi na history kono ndunta no in the military soon after school 83 bari mfunjita few weeks mfama man lafinu mojama ko esa dunta findita ye mfama dal military ko nyi mamuta numbake dal so mfana mbuka lafika kuke memman diay. So nata na ndunta into action 8. Na action 8 ma na doko ke nyani ja yalo moja mama olonde. So a few months right. But it was my military ben kono right. Camouflage dungo nying. I just liked military for whatever reason. Kabirimbe abite school fante I used to write to military colleges in America. Ikan jabi email or you know airmail kana. But I don't want to go against my father because among Kamfa, but amakum mutadal. So mfana sita for 1 year. Ninna tansapa ko ya jombeti jinna. Af labo akoye ko kato ilafta nyinela. Ala ya long wotungo fon akoy aya do dinna ngawo kram fo sanya akoye ko mbewo safela ngabewo dilela isita ala yetanga ya wulula na dingore gulan yusuba na makataballahu lana ay wole fonne akoye ko mbe ta because among kenkeda among tara hanyiri pour ngadu military. That was the real reason. So ndunta 85 86 87 88 89 yen samba at the military school in Senegal bari woto fana yatara confederation obe kerine dolka fo nyimbe confederal gendarme nyimbe confederal army yala woto more people were saying that is where you can earn. So I was chosen for whatever reason, I don't know. Then not at Senegal, na training keje, Muruta na Gambia. And then 1990, again, I just thought of Kadum Farmer Sonta. Sa inka konte lafta bulala nata pilot program do not you know in the Gambia to go and study in France. Na exam
this is just Nico Confederal Army because we have a lot of young viewers.
Yes.
So lafta doro you tata just briefly ka explain more.
It's a good
Gambian Senegal denta nu mena. Kadu mo jamal fana mem faham. Wala mo Gambian Senegal fana wadi sotanu isota nyokan kodi.
Yeah, that's a very, very good thing. Thank you. Confederal Army Nying, Yalong, after you made reference to Kuko Isambasanyang's rebellion, you know. So around 82, in fact, the confederation between the Senegal and the Gambia, interestingly, people, the young ones, may not know, they may think that it was signed, today they see Kairaba, no, this one was signed in Kaur. Sadauda Kairaba Jawara and Abdou Diouf, they signed the Confederal Agreement. Confederation, of course, the true meaning of the word. If some youngsters are there, they can go and search on Google, they will know what confederation. It's not a federation, it's a confederation. You know, then we have the Senegalo-Gambian Secretariat. That was there before, but it was reinforced. And then we have a merger of security forces. Then the Gendarmerie Nata, Colonel Pate Seka Nyolu, J5 Nyolu. Then people like myself, Yahya Jammeh and others were there. So this is, it was like Gambian Gendarmerie was being trained by Senegal Gendarmerie. But the Senegalese Gendarmerie did not meet a tabla rase in Gambia. It doesn't mean that they just came, there was nobody. No. We had the field force, the police force. The training was just an addition of other pamphlets, other modules, but drill did not change. We continued the same British drill, So if you want, I can give you some orders right now and say, "Take son, my match."
So
Whilst that,
you were part of that confederal
yes,
contingent from Gambia, Mentara, Senegal training la.
correct.
Mhm.
Correct. So I was there in fact, interestingly, I was, when I left school, I was very little young. So some of us went into these things at an early age. So I was, the day that the Confederation was being frozen. In fact, I remember former President Abdou Diouf, he did not use the word broken or rupture, diplomacy, the decorum. He said, La Confédération Sénégalo-Gambienne est gelée, means it is frozen. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist at all again. But, it ended abruptly because the relationship, it was not, when things are done, I'm sorry to say, in hurriedly, or maybe just to protect a regime, or maybe just to, in an impulsive and compulsive way, want to create a situation where people will think that both countries will be safe. It's not as if it was studied, looked into all these things. So I think that's what led to but the Senegalese, at least they did their best also. At least they left the gendarmerie there. But that gendarmerie also, to come back to your question, was amalgamated.
Into the Gambian National Army.
And the police.
Okay.
Many people say they went to the National Army. No, it was not like a choice, in fact. Some of them were, like some regiments were listed, were asked to go to the police. Some people were taken out of the gendarme and then taken to the army. And former President Yahya Jammeh was in the army as a military police. To be honest, giving merit where merit is due, he did a good job at the Prévôté. Prévôté in the gendarmerie language means military police. That's how he was qualified. So many people misinterpret it, say that Jammeh refused. He stood there, he did it. No. It's not like he's refusing, disobeying orders. It's because of what he was doing at the Prévôté. It was a good job. They thought that he will also still be good to go and be in the army.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the gendarme that was gendarmerie army ni member num confederal army kono. Birin confederation ni banda ye wollel tala doltara police doltara okay. So lafa ke nyininga menna. I know we'll come to Yahya Jammeh in a bit, and in a long time in the army, in the gendarmerie, and in Wasifal. But lafa ke nyininga menna, wato menna albenum training la kata fo ye wato menkenum in the gendarmerie. Malel beje many alonko, in hindsight you can remember them, prominent individuals. I think, what do you remember about them? I know Jammeh is one of them.
Yeah. I remember Lieutenant Ali Ndur right now in United Kingdom. He was a very good brother with me. He was my senior, but we were connected. He was in the Dakar University, an intelligent man. When he was trained in France and came back, I remember E.I. Chongan, Ibrahim Ismail Chongan. Of course, at the time when he came back from France, he was the one heading what we call the GTS, the Gendarmerie Training School. I remember Major Amadou Souare, who is in fact right now with me in the United States. Even if I shout his name right now, he can come to the studio. I remember our own trainers also before I come to Yahya. I remember like Tala Ning, Sajin Mamadou Conte. I remember Kopul Bori Sanyang. I remember Dwaran officer Ibrahim Jammeh. We all know him as Bakungo. In the military, everybody has a nickname. And I remember Galosau. I remember my own, I call him grandfather, father, a brave man. We call him Jungel, Sajin Usman Jallo. Yeah, he trained us.
How easy was it for you to transition from civilian life into the military? How was the camp like? Because you mentioned that you went into the army at a very young age.
Yeah. Well, the transitioning, the difference is that for us, I don't know exactly now because I hear some complaints, but for us, when you join the military, the training is hard, but food is assured, uniform is assured, Definitely. We always used to be marched before the quartermaster store. They give you brand new boots, uniform, everything, polish, all free. They give it to you, definitely. It was a huge dormitory. I was not shocked. There was no culture shock for me because I lived in a dormitory for 5 years in Amity School.
Mm.
So it's like Amity, I never knew that was preparing me for the dormitory in the military. So we live together because that is camaraderie. That's why
Mhm.
they do it in the military. So, some of us, I'm sorry to say, but doctor's exam, each one of you will line up with the other. You will all be undressed to the lowest part of your dress. You understand what I'm trying to say? So
Mhm.
we follow each other like that, every one of us. So you can see that that's a camaraderie. So it wasn't as far as living in there. Of
Mhm.
course, nobody will tell you that I joined the military and then it was an easy ride. Then they did not join the military. It's not easy at all because you wake up. If people are to wake up at 5 a.m., you don't fix your mind in the military to say that I will wake up 5 a.m. No, it depends on the mood of the trainer. They can even come and wake you up at 6 a.m. This has happened. Oh, sorry, at 2 a.m. and tell you to go outside and start singing songs like I'm the ugliest person in the world. And you have to sing in Telemulunja Mobiti. And you have to do that. That's military. You
Mhm.
have to get up. They can come and wake you up with an iron rod. Can, get up. Just to show you the transitioning. They
Mhm.
can also come. If you don't get up, they can bring a hose pipe, spray
Yes,
your bed,
welcome.
and then you have to get up. Those are the transitions I felt. In the beginning, definitely, I was, to be honest with you, Fali, I was asking myself, am I already in the other side of the am I in the hereafter now? I've been taken to hell, or am I still alive?
Mm.
It was not easy, but
Mhm.
it's just the beginning. But at the end of the day, now all these former officers, Chonga, Noor, my trainers, when I left, what is interesting in that, and I left, they became like very, very, I love them to death because I came to understand that on the whole, it was not hatred. Amadou Suare
Mhm.
is my brother here. One time he punished us to do what they call rule. I said to myself that this man, I'll never like him in my life. That's the end of it. But today, Amadou is my best brother. I mean, he loves me to death. We live together in America here. He tells me, he said, that was good for you because
Mhm.
I was not the most obedient if you understand by character.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
repel things and I refuse things, but they suppressed it in me to understand that look, it's not your way all the time. No.
Mhm. Thank
Yeah.
you. This yo abaraka bake yo senior di bake sila
I
lafa ke
thought we
nyirin
nyambe
ka
angale
wala
kama
mu
program bagen.
lafa ke nyirin ka men na wala mu ening because nga kala mo fanan ko ening president Koro Jammeh
Yeah. Yeah.
albel gendarmerie around the same time. Malum for it was during aliada di nyolale ala training or whether it was later on. Bari isa fo mole because nga je fanan ko al sabatiza nyokan ne fanan dula kilingoro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isa fo mole inala teria dadita nyadi le wara inala
Mm.
kafunyoya a dadita nyadi le.
Yalong maybe at a belief or other people, but whenever I talk about Yahya,
Mhm.
where we have ended, I become emotional because yeah, call tambitale nga kufae. I was not happy, but near Jibe power is very, very dangerous. Power.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because Yahya Jammeh, the person, amangke wo mo jawbati. No, 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 no. Because thing I tell long men is that akan tara in certain situations, and then he defends some of us. He used to do that. Near Soron Kuka Meloko among correct. Nde, I was one of those. And he fights for you. Okay?
Like in the
I think
army.
yeah, he was an instructor when I was in the army. Yeah, Manke, he was a sergeant. Yeah,
Mm.
understand. And then he was the one who was connected to us more than anybody. Allah lafta Tonyal. What
Mhm.
men told the recruit yala, for example, ni lafta Atayala. He used to be good at that. Wala can bring the president I left Liya Malafi Amalafi Kide. Yeah. Malo sci-fi blood, but I'm more sifa menti. Nka describe no nyame. Amalafi Kide la. I cannot remember seeing Yahya just being by himself at the Mala Quadron. No. I take a lafile molka surround Domoro and Mole Dom. Yeah, no, that's I lafka Tonyal. This is the way I used to see him. You attire a la camp bed. I can still see him on that camp bed. Abelaring, Molbe attire him ganjang kacha bekela boni spear be kumalajana. He likes those kind of things. This is Yahya the person. So for me, I don't know how it all came about, but wotumombe zadar morialaje ye nga training na anata ayenteta ako ngake like a assistant senior man or senior man because ako na ko everybody said that he is my person. Wogutonyali na ko ka diain. But what I don't know now, but before he used to like me a lot, So Wosifa lule dunta natema. Then after that, I invite where they have dormitory F. Nasa Batita, just demanding, I'm like a long time, but we stayed together, definitely. Because the liking was more of respect and expectations of things that I am ready to do. Because Mamfanjai, bari ate along of one hanyita for Manghai. Ate along. Bari ate fanang, politically, I can say, among Hani is a coward. But if it comes to when I am not doing psy-ops, you know what I'm saying, to criticize somebody. But if I'm being honest, he's not a coward. No. Inte wotumobe diamukam ka tonyele ka fay ko mo genaragal gutun and all that stuff. Because it's psychology. Bari nte na temo, nte na mo flow. Ate along who I am and I know who he is. Definitely. That's what I can remember about living with him. We used to go to the Senegalese to get our food from there, walk back to our dormitory. To be honest with you, my life with him in the military, everybody knew that he was my man. I will write a C pastor. I'm sure you like these stories because you used to like these stories at OIC. I need write a C pastor. But in Kamenu for a bit, many manjim for OIC. I think Hakulis rider C pastor, Jamanol Nata, Kamol trained to be escort riders. He's very good. It's a very good motorbike being escort rider. But I think when Yahya was not selected, he was good. He passed the test. He's good. They used to go to this somewhere around. There is a quarry there. They used to train them there. Lamin Fay, Yahya, and others. So Uraro, then I'll be the dormitory killing. He will use his rider and then he was very good at that. He was really good at it. But what he said during the interview that iman lafalanum to be at the state house is true. But ite samba je bondi. But when my name was submitted, nte for Mamfuta, nte esa, yente bondi level.
No, but explain ko akalo mola kola wato menal benung army Mary. Could that explain why when coup d'etat ketanu it was easy for people to see him as a freedom fighter?
True. Yeah, that's why I said power is bad. Yalong ala lafta tonya lantening na kaburote mangalon ne. Even his early days, people can go back. You used to see him in joggings, Casio watch. I know he believed in what he was as a change agent and all that. But Yalong power, if you don't have the right team around you, you can be misled very seriously. Yeah, but to be honest with you, standing up for people, there are other people around, they know what I'm talking about. They were in the army. Standing up for people, fighting for people within the army, he was good at that. And then I can give you an anecdote of a story. He used to refuse, my man, it makes me laugh because we have a lot of things in that are similar. I used to refuse certain things he used to refuse too. We were taken to a cadet exam in the Birka-Manyambai forest. I was selected as a cadet. They know that I scored high in many subjects, but I don't want to bring back old wounds. Some officers went and said, I am like kind of poor conduct. I may be a whatever dangerous person to have the rank. The files are there. They cannot refuse it. Let them go and visit Fajara Barracks and look what they put in my file. So that he did not like it. No, he did not like it. So I remember one day, part of the exam, we did training, we did bush, we did everything. So they put for us to do high jump. I still remember the story. Yahya will never deny that. He's always been the type that would just go against things when he feels that it is not right for him. Even if it is not right for others, but if it is right for him, he will make sure that you know he doesn't like it. He walked slowly to the where they put the high jump thing. Yahya walked. He did not run. You know, high jump, you have to run and jump. He walked and took the stick and broke it and said, Hana high jump moita nyo hamne ni dafa wara neka soldat. Those things I like about it. Yeah. He did judo. The videos are there. He demonstrated before Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara. He was chosen, him, Baibu, and other people, small now, others who did I did some training somewhere, but they did it to an advanced stage. He is a brown belt holder for judo.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. Definitely. Everything I'm telling you here is a fact. If anybody denies it, I will not even waste my time because they know that it's a fact.
Yeah. So were you together up until the time of the coup d'etat or no?
No. Okay. I left in 1990 to go and do my program, the French PADEF program.
Okay. So because the reason why I asked that, I wanted to understand whether you saw the coup coming, but since you guys were not living together,
I saw it coming.
At all? Yahya Jammeh ba ko nyaro.
No, msafo no, mtafola ko malon nunko. I can mtafonola because menunje adong the precipitants were there. Wala ken ngabula ntefon. Because some of us ngajeko kolbe taka nyamen dal. You know, it was not what we wanted because nibe sila ajil we change le jana tenin teng civil double police kana kentola IGT. We used to talk about it in the dormitories. We did not like that. We wanted the commander to be part of the gendarme. That's the honest truth. Okay, they brought Press Jang. I have nothing against him. He likes what he was doing. He was a good, I would call him a person that would run the show. But today, I'll say it. Some of us used to say it behind the four walls of our rooms that we really do not like them to bring another person who will be the head of the camp. We wanted the person to come from us. It's either Nur or maybe Chongan or maybe somebody. Then we feel that this is the Zandam who is leading. But this is one of the things. And the other thing is that there was this, you know, the Minister of Defense was Sadada Karawajawara. Then the permanent secretaries are civilians. And then if you are a local purchasing officer, I was one of those. You will go through a permanent secretary who will look at this stuff, approve it, take it to the Secretary General. For us, we felt like this is just like civilians are entering into what we do and they really don't know what we are doing. Because it's like, if you request for a budget to go for bush training, some of those people are civilian. They don't know the impact it has. They don't know a mess tip. They don't know if you go under the tent in case of a snake bites you. They don't know, or in case a scorpion stings you. They don't know if you are wounded. We have our list, but everything was not being approved as it should be approved because the military felt that they're treating their request like any other civilian, department's request. And that is not correct. That's why in the US it doesn't happen. So those things we used to complain about it, and I knew that one day or the other, it's either somebody like Yahya will get up or something else would happen because the situation was not favorable. It was not favorable at all. So just to say this, the military, let's say, between the time I left, because I left in 1990, because there was a French government PADEF program for scholarships. And just to leave because I knew that my father would be happier if I do that. I mean, you will see that he comes back into my story all the time. Then I left, and I was lucky. We did an exam. I was selected, went to the Gambia College. We did an exam. I was selected to go to France. When I came back from France, interestingly, I went to the gendarmerie to greet people. Guess who I first met when I was going out? Yahya.
When did you come back? Which year?
In 93.
Okay, that's what before the
Yeah.
coup d'etat.
Yeah. I met him, and then we joked. He said to me, you've left me. I've not seen you. I told him, no, I was in France. He said, yeah, you think I didn't hear? I had it. And then I still remember he was putting on a camouflage, and then we had a chat. Then after that, I didn't see him again until there were things we used to meet because, I was in the protocol after the protocol department. I used to see him.
Okay.
Not all the time, but we used to meet. I even went to visit him at the Prevote, at the military police one day. I went there and visited him. We had a chat. So when the overthrow happened, I remember that evening. No, not the evening. It was during about morning time. I was at the airport with my former boss, Maudo Ture. I like narrating this story.
Point you were at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as
Yes,
a protocol
yes.
officer.
Because when I came from France, I did not teach. I just went into the classroom 2 weeks. I was interviewed and given a job at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a protocol welfare officer, sometimes interpretation, translation, just at a lower scale.
Okay.
So when
So
the
you met
coup,
Jammeh?
Hmm?
No, you said when the coup d'etat happened, you were at the airport.
Yeah, kabring lumme makube happen la. I used to talk to like amanke I'm in the inner core of the planning, but yalo nini mol be kafuri. Yalo mandigole me fo iko nyolo kunda kondo nyine gate wodo. Yalo. So I understand the language they speak. I understand soldier language. So the airport, in fact, is this Nigerian minister? I think his name was Chisekedi, something like that. He's a foreign minister. He was supposed to come. Ala aircraft nata anyanta landlarek, it went back. So I saw rocket launchers, I saw stingers, I saw my good old friends. We call them the toys. When I saw these toys running around, toys means arms. When I saw everybody running around with their toys, I said, my boss, I remember Mauda, he told me, are they people on an exercise? I told him, no, this is not an exercise. I don't know what else it is, but this is not an exercise. An exercise with an antichrist rocket launcher, somebody went directly to the tower, the airport tower. They went there. I told him, no. I don't know. Whatever this is gonna be, it's not gonna be good. So I told him because this is so when all of a sudden we had but none of them shot any. There was no shot fired. I hear people narrating stories about it. No, nobody fired a single shot at that airport. No, but they took over the place instantly, and then we went to, when you are entering the airport at that time, the old exit where you not the new one. There is this other old one. I think people pass through there still. They asked everybody, including the former head of the GCAA, Mamse Jallo, and all that. They were there. They asked everybody to go on the ground and lie down flat on your stomach. And everybody did that. I did not because somebody among them recognized me. His joke was, "Side." And then I said, he said, "Come here. In fact, you are not going to, we will try to go to the jeep and get your uniform because we know that you can fight." And I laughed. I said, "No, but I'm working at the foreign affairs." He said, no. I stood aside. Soldiers are always good to each other. Yeah. They gave me a car to go.